Well, we all have some amount of guilty pleasures. Stupid movies that you know are stupid, but you just like them anyway. Yeah. Well, one such franchise for me was the Resident Evil films. I guess there was one particular. Yeah, okay, I really like Mila Jovovich. So and look, she did a good job. It's not her fault that the whole narrative was incoherent. I mean, sometimes it was as if some other movie took place in between the sequels, and it was kind of like a handoff to one after another. Although her husband did he do the second one too? He did the first one or something. But anyway, he was always a producer and whatnot. The last one is the absolute worst. It's the worst of the batch. It has some cool scenes in it and stuff, But anyway, it was always interesting because there's Mila Jovovich, a competent action heroine, if you will. When in the current era, there's never been women leading an adventure film or something, with needing Captain Marvel or whatever. And you can go back decades to prove that false. And so that's good on her. It's too bad she didn't get one that was really had a little more sense to it. Maybe Ultraviolet should have been the franchise, but I guess it flopped. She only did one. But she did a good job on the movie, But it is what it is. The thing about it is, I never cared for I never played the video game. So it was around. It was advertised in comic books because comic book nerd, stuff like that. And knew the basic premise of it and everything. But even with that amount of ignorance of it, watching the films, I already knew that it was loosely based on the concepts or storyline, rather, of the Resident Evil video game. And although characters that are in the video game do appear throughout the film, Mila's character, as I understand it, was never a part of it. The Alice character was not in there. And, of course, the movies are all about Alice. And so, Wesker, of course, shows up here and there and all that. Ultimately is revealed not to be the ultimate villain and this sort of thing. And some of the other characters who are far more important, as I understand it, to the video game were only, supporting characters at best and stuff like that. So it had its run. It's 6 films. So that's pretty good for a, it was kind of under the radar for the most part. But, there, you got to give it its due. It had its following. And there you go. So that's 6 films of that. So after it was over, they immediately announced, we're going to do a reboot. We'll have a new series. And apparently it's going to actually be a series for Netflix now. And so, okay, once you do something like that with a franchise where it's based on something else, whether it's a novel or a comic book series or even an old TV show, or in this case, a video game, and they do like 6 films like that, and it's not exactly a true, loyal adaptation to the source material, you would think that, okay, this time around will involve more of the actual characters from it. Now, to be fair to the original series, because I've looked at imagery from the games and whatnot of the different characters, Leon, and of course Wesker, and Ada Wong, and Jill Valentine. Although Jill Valentine, well, that's the point I'm making. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost here. Within the original films, when Jill Valentine showed up, she looked like the character. Leon was briefly in one of them. He was in the whole film, but still, it was kind of brief. Ada Wong was there as well, and they looked like the character. So it's like, who it is, So you would think. So now he says, okay, now's our chance to really delve into the video games story, and so you would cast characters that would resemble the characters you've known for years. Well, they're not going to do that. We're in the current era. So, of course, everyone is reduced to skin and genitals. So Wesker, the sinister guy with blonde hair and sunglasses is now going to be a bald black man. Now, Lance Reddick is a actor who's shown up in all kinds of stuff, you know, from Fringe, and he was in Lost too. Solid actor, you know. He can play the mysterious guy and all that sort of stuff, and he probably could pull off a good villain, but he doesn't look anything like Wesker. We go through this all the time. In the past, years ago, it's like when Perry White was, you know, played by Lawrence Fishburne in Man of Steel. Back then, I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, but now it's like some holy mission to do this. And it keeps coming more to the point. And like Perry White is a supporting character in Superman story. It's not Superman himself, although Superman will now be black. So there you go. But this keeps going with the idea that any black characters that are already established just aren't good enough. They have to take over a role that was white, you know, for however long. And I mean, Resident Evil, the game, is now pretty old now. So it's pretty well established, you know, what it is. And I mean, video games, what is that? Well, it's video. It's visual. So it's very important of a certain look, you know. So yeah, I don't know what that's, you know, well, I know what it is. You know, it's the superficial, you know, virtue signaling, if you will, of politics and whatnot. And look what I did. Aren't I great? When you're basically reaffirming the idea that only white characters really matter. And so that's why, to be nice to black people, I'll give them a little gift here and race swap a character. And this happens again and again and again. There's no really other reason for it. You know, back in the early days, there was blatant tokenism, but I understand why they were doing it. You know, it was coming out of the years of the unfairness to the black population in America, and for the longest time, you know, films, there was nothing but maids and butlers, and that's about it. You know, and they never had got a lead character or anything. But you know, that's a long time ago now, and it's just the idea that there's no justice until, I don't know, every character of any story is race swapped or gender swapped. If we want to move off into sex, then I don't know why Wesker isn't a woman, you know. That'll, you know, why not? Because you hate women. See, that's the reason why you didn't cast a woman in the role. See how that works? See? Yeah. So the other problem about this is every time that's done and it's emphasized. Now, to be fair, all they did was announce their cast and they showed this group photo. I don't know who these women are playing. Perhaps those will be some characters that are gender swapped. I don't know. But you know, the big thing was Wesker, you know. So there he is. But if going forward, they're just going to talk about race and sex and stuff like that, and that's it, then the project's in trouble. Because every time they do this, it's merely for shielding purposes, and they're just going to slap some stuff together, and that's it. A lot of these programs and whatnot, the plots don't make sense. They don't go anywhere. The special effects tend to be good. The props are good, all that stuff. Even the actors are good in some instances. But character development almost non-existent, and plots that don't make sense, and endings that just sort of fizzle. And, you know, it's just lazy a story. So more times than not, when this sort of thing is done, that's what you can expect. So anyway, look, I guess you're never going to get an actual adaptation of Resident Evil. And I enjoyed the original films, but I could understand someone who really likes the video games, like it's their favorite video game and all that sort of stuff, and says, oh, they're making a movie about it. Oh, really? And he goes to see them. Well, what is this? You know, and now even more so. Because, I mean, in the original films, they made up their own original character. Okay, well, then why can't Lance Reddick have his own original character, you know? But, yeah, not going to happen. I don't know. It's like if Marvel was going to do a reboot so you can have Iron Man and Captain America again. It would be new actors and stuff, but then you could reboot it to where it's more closer to the original story if you wanted to, and that might have garnered some excitement and stuff. But no, that's not going to happen. It's a little too much trouble anyway. But here, Resident Evil, you think they could have done it, but yeah, that's too bad. So it's tiresome, because it keeps happening. And of course, if you have any complaint, well, then in this case, you'll be racist. So that's not gonna make a success out of the story. Who knows? One of these might turn out to be the most brilliant thing you've ever seen, but I rather doubt it. But it's, again, back to the superficial nature of it, which, in my opinion, is wrong. And it's been done way too many times now to where it is so very hollow. Just stop doing it. Anyway, good luck to Resident Evil. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.